Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm going to pause my screen share for just a moment. I don't know if that took it off screen share, but I just wanted to come full screen and just say, if you ever lay down to go to sleep and you just can't shut your brain off, you've got a lot on your plate and you feel like you're pretty good at keeping a handle on everything, but lately there seems to be more and more, and when it's time for sleep, your brain just keeps turning things over in your mind, and way before you're ready, the alarm goes off and it's time to get up and do it all again, right? Start another day with even more stuff to add to your calendar. And you wonder, will this ever stop? So if this sounds like you, I want you to know that you're not alone. And tonight I'm going to be talking about why sleep seems elusive, what's happening in your body, and ways to get a good night's sleep. I'm Deborah Loader, a certified master transformational health coach. And sleep is that golden chain that holds health and our bodies together. We'll be going over several strategies to help you have better sleep. And remember, I'm always here if you want to talk more in depth or if you have questions. So please feel free to leave any questions in the chat and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So let's get started. I've used a lot of resources to put together this webinar for tonight. And I have the entire list. And if you would like those, please let me know. And I will email those to you, or some I'm going to be dropping in the chat as we go through. I'm going to put some of those links. But if you want all of them, please just let me know. Lack of sleep. One of the biggest health challenges that people face today is a lack of sleep. In fact, an estimated 50 to 70 million adult Americans suffer from a sleep or wakefulness disorder. And given that to be healthy, we should be spending 1/3 of our entire lives asleep, that figure is pretty staggering. This can be due to a number of reasons, and as with any health issues, can be influenced by varying external factors. And it can be that, we're not creating the space in our schedule for adequate sleep, or we're not understanding the importance of it, and therefore letting any sleep-related responsibilities go uncared for. By attending to our sleep-related needs, we can ensure the rest of our day is maximized, right? Enhancing our health and productivity levels, and overall, we can cultivate a deeper connection with the world around us as we finally possess the energy to do so. So what is a good night's sleep? A good night's sleep can be defined by a period of 6 to 9 hours, depending on the individual's activity level, during which 20% of this is deep sleep and 25% is REM sleep. However, it's not just the quality of the sleep that is important, but it's also the consistency. There are so many definitions and opinions about what constitutes a good night's sleep, right? Especially in the media now. However, that really it comes down to figuring out what works best for you and to aim to achieve that as much as possible. Now, I do have an article from the Sleep Foundation on how much sleep do we really need. So I am going to try to put this in the chat. So we'll see if this works. There. Yes, I did it. Technology can be great when it works. The side effects of sleep deprivation. Now, we've all been there, right? Sleepily putting on odd socks. I've actually put on two different color shoes. I mean, they're the same. The shoes look the same, but one was black and one was navy blue, right? We've done that. And stumbling around wearily in the dark. And, the obvious effects of not getting enough sleep are clear. And by the way, I did not realize that I had on two different colors of shoes until I was at work. Mhm. But as our day wears on, the effects of sleep deprivation only multiply, regardless of how much coffee that we drink. Some of the things that happen as a direct result of having insufficient sleep is one, we become more prone to accidents. And research has shown that in the US, 20% of car accidents occur as a result of a drowsy driver. Lack of energy causes our responses to be lowered, filtering that peripheral awareness, and ultimately increasing the chances that we'll make a mistake while we're driving. And it's not just road accidents, mistakes or discrepancies in our work, due to lack of attention span and energy can lower overall productivity and job satisfaction, and our ability to perform well in the workplace is also significantly decreased. The National Sleep Foundation they have a website, Drowsy Driving, and that's a great resource if you want to learn more about the statistics. So if you want that link, let me know and I'll send it to you. Some more side effects of sleep deprivation. Not getting enough sleep also leaves us more prone to developing other seemingly non-related health problems. As the body learns to function on low levels of energy over the course of a period of time, of poor sleep, this means there's less energy left over to help aid the body in its recovery from other illnesses that might not seem directly influenced by sleep levels. Lack of sleep has been linked to such serious afflictions as diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, and even heart disease. So that can totally shorten your overall life expectancy, right? While there are generally several other factors involved, it's quite telling that these illnesses can all be shaped or at least improved by examining our sleep patterns and energy levels over a given period of time. Short-term studies where subjects have deprived themselves of sleep to examine the immediate effects of a lack of sleep have noticed heightening in blood pressure, a lowering of blood glucose levels, and increased inflammation. So it follows that long-term persistence of these symptoms could lead to more deeply rooted health issues. It can lead to imbalances in hormone levels, making us prone to mood swings and difficult emotional states. And that's one of the things where we feel like we're just going to snap, and sometimes we do, right? It's these imbalances. Physically visible side effects of sleep deprivation. You have dull skin, you've got the dark circles under your eyes, and a general fatigued appearance. I mean, when you look in the mirror if you've had enough sleep, and you know that when you look at other people. So why do so many people experience this uncomfortable and stressful sensation of not being able to sleep? The overstimulation we are presented with constantly means that there is always something externally going on or happening that we feel we need to catch up with or achieve. This sense of needing to be aware of every little element of our lives, and more importantly, the need to be in control of it, is what keeps our minds so active, not only at nighttime, but in the daytime too. And here are some of the top reasons why adults today are suffering lack of sleep. Technology. Technology. Before technology became such a massive and overwhelming factor in our lives, our bodies were in tune to the rising and the setting of the sun. The further and further away from this we moved, however, the less in tune with our bodies we've become. So even the most basic of needs, like sufficient sleep, has been shaken by the external technology influences. During the days of sleeping when the sun sleeps, the retinas in our eyes immediately detected a natural hormone called melatonin as soon as the light started to decrease. Melatonin causes us to feel sleepy, and during a healthy period of deep sleep, remains elevated within the bloodstream. Now, think of this in terms of the bright blue light emitted by phone screens and the flashing lights of technology devices that we've become addicted to checking. As soon as this kind of light hits the retina, the effect of melatonin is immediately reversed, and it actually promotes a state of wakefulness over that of sleep. All of this, combined with artificial lighting, has caused disrupted sleep patterns and lowered the overall quality of the sleep we do get, as the bright light we so crave lies inches away from us at nighttime. Should that wakeful moment present us with a social media craving? Now, I've got a YouTube video about that. It's very short. I'm going to share that in the chat too, because this is just super interesting. See if I can get that over there. There we go. So what are some of the ways to combat technology and the light-related sleep issues? Dim the light on your device screen to the lowest setting possible. Dimming all of the lights in your house will actually send signals to the retinas that it's time to wind down towards sleep. At least 1 to 2 hours before a set bedtime, turn off all blue light devices in the house, including TVs, computers, tablets, and smartphones. This will help trigger the production of melatonin, and sleepiness will set in at the right time. Try to regulate this bedtime routine to occur at the same time each day to allow your body to create a regulated sleep cycle. Limit the mind's stimulation in the hours leading toward bedtime. Activities such as reading a book, listening to music, or meditating are all much more beneficial to still the mind and help it to focus on a singular thing, meaning it drifts to sleep easier. Charge any phones or devices that might tempt you in a moment of wakefulness. Charge those away from the nightstand, right? The further away, the better. Now, which of those tips do you think that you could benefit from? I know shutting off the phone long before bedtime would work for me. Now, just as important as moderating our external experiences before sleep is making sure our internal bodies are lined up for rest. Studies have shown that, all the high sugar consumption, and not just the bad kinds of sugar, but all sugar consumption before bed or throughout the day is a huge contributing factor to difficulties that many people have sleeping. Our physiology is not set up to deal with the typical carb-loaded Western way of eating, which is why insomnia and diet have become strongly linked. If you have ever put, diesel fuel into a gasoline engine, you'll know that putting the wrong fuel in has less than ideal results. And the same applies to us. Not only does the wrong type of fuel have the tendency to make us gain weight, but it can also wreck our sleep. Refined carbs like white rice, sugar, products made out of white flour like bread, crackers, and cakes are probably second only to caffeine in reducing the quality of your sleep. And knowing a little bit about your body, how it responds to food, will make this clear. Refined carbs get broken down to glucose in your gut and are absorbed very quickly into your bloodstream because they have a high glycemic index, making your blood sugar shoot up to a really high level. And this is bad news for your body, so it spills out a load of insulin to deal with the threat. And because it had to do it on an emergency rush job, it overshoots the mark, which means you end up with low blood sugar. So if you're eating natural foods, which have a tendency to have a low glycemic index, these violent swings in your blood sugar and insulin don't happen. It sounds a lot easier than it is, but familiarizing yourself with your body and the way particular foods influence your sleep is vital if you're going to make any progress in improving your levels of sleep. So if this topic is of interest to you, there's tons of resources online to help you learn more about what foods to and not to eat before bed. So I have an article on that too, if you're interested. So we talked about the technology is a reason that people don't sleep. Diet is a reason people don't sleep. And the last one is lifestyle. Now, while both the factors that we discussed already fall into the lifestyle category, at some level, there's also no denying that there's more to a sleep disorder than might seem initially obvious. I mean, anyone can tell you to put the phone down before bed, and our fascination with improving diet and fitness stems far deeper than doing so purely for sleep reasons. Factors such as work hours and work location and nap taking and sleep cycle regulation and environmental factors can all have just as significant as an effect on our sleep patterns. And so these things should also be considered when seeking to improve it. For example, if you work long hours at home and often don't stop working until later on in the evening, this can create a hazy, blurred confusion between sleep and work, right? Sleep hours and work hours, meaning that the quality of neither your work or your sleep time will be optimized as to what it could be. Now, if you take naps regularly and find yourself in need of sleep at random intervals during the day, this is generally an indication that your nighttime sleep patterns are out of balance. To minimize the necessity for naps and maximize the nighttime hours, try regulating your evening sleep cycle and adhering to a strict before bed routine. Because as we've already discussed, the hour or two before bed is the most crucial to your sleep quality. Environmentally, it's often difficult to manipulate external factors in order to maximize your sleep quality. And yet there are several things that can be done. Clean up your room. Sleeping with less clutter reduces the stimulation around us and clutter in the brain. Light a candle. Something so simple as lighting a candle or diffusing essential oils and turning off any devices an hour before bed can contribute to sleep quality. Minimize outside noise. Now, it might seem obvious, but choosing an environment that's not overly impacted by outside noises and disruptions is a huge way you can improve sleep quality. If you know you're a light sleeper, make sure you consider that when choosing a bedroom. Or maybe you should change bedrooms. And again, turn off that phone. This cannot be stressed enough. Too many people still rely on their phone during the nighttime hours, and arguing your case by saying you need it to wake you up is really just an excuse. Which brings me to tip 5. Buy an alarm clock. Right? So there's a fascinating study on the influence of lifestyle factors on insomnia in Japan. And I have the link for that article too, if that's something that you would like to read. Sleep and mental health. Sleep is as effective on our health as eating, drinking, and breathing, as it allows our cells to repair themselves and allows our brain to process and receive information. It's also linked to various mental health disorders such as anxiety and depression, as low levels of physical energy translate into poor cognitive activity and a lack of ability to process thoughts clearly. When seeking to boost our mental health, therefore it makes sense that improving sleep quality is high up on the list of recommended treatments. The difference that you'll feel after several consecutive good night's sleep in your overall mood and awareness is really incredible. So prioritize sleep over anything else. Lack of sleep also contributes to the likelihood of developing and worsening a mental health disorder. So if you are prone to struggling with these issues or think you might be at risk, it's a good idea to prioritize sleep. Harvard Health states that there are over 70 types of sleep disorders in existence. The most common problems are insomnia, which is difficulty falling or staying asleep, obstructive sleep apnea, which is disordered breathing that causes multiple awakenings, various movement syndromes, like the unpleasant sensations that prompt night fidgeting, and narcolepsy, which is extreme sleepiness or falling asleep suddenly during the day. There have been so many overlaps between the study of mental health disorders and sleep disorders that researchers have regularly concluded that there must be an overlap in their biological roots. And I also have the article from Harvard Health on that if you're interested. So REM sleep and how to boost it. REM sleep, which is the rapid eye movement, right? REM sleep occurs in cycles of about 90 to 120 minutes throughout the night. And it accounts for up to 20 to 25% of total sleep time in adult humans, although the proportion decreases with age. A newborn baby may spend 80% of total sleep time in REM. So in particular, REM sleep dominates the latter half of the sleep period, especially the hours before waking. And the REM component of each sleep cycle typically increases as the night goes on. As the name suggests, it is associated with rapid and apparently random side-to-side movements of the closed eyes, a phenomenon which can be monitored and measured. This eye motion is not constant, but it's intermittent, and it's still not known exactly what purpose it serves, but it's believed that the eye movements may relate to internal visual images of the dreams that occur during REM sleep, especially as they are associated with the brainwave spikes in the region of the brain involved with vision. So how do we boost REM sleep? By cultivating a day and night routine, we can successfully engage with REM sleep when the need arises. Following guidelines regarding your diet, fitness and health regimens, lifestyle factors, and environmental factors in the immediate proximity to where you plan to sleep all contribute to raised levels of REM sleep. There are more methods in the link below, and I'll post this. But I'd like you to take this opportunity to consider, which ones realistically you could start to introduce in your current lifestyle. So these are some of the things that you could, and I use realistically, start right now, tonight. You could pick one or two of these and see if you could incorporate that into your sleep routine. Meditation. One amazing way to start maximizing your sleep is by learning how to meditate. By becoming more aware of our thoughts, tendencies, and patterns, meditation supports an overall more balanced, rounded, and energized lifestyle. Another aspect of this kind of lifestyle is a regular sleep cycle. There are many different effective meditations that can be done to support a better cycle of sleep. As many people find it difficult to know where or how to start their meditation journey, it helps to start by taking guided meditations to help ease you into a deeper state of relaxation. Then you can work toward achieving this by yourself. Studies have found that regular meditation can have long-term benefits for our sleep cycle and can fight against insomnia. Meditation helps us to drift into a deeper state of sleep and, more importantly, to remain there. This calming focus as an alternative to stressful and agitated focus is what encourages our nervous system to relax, integrating breath with movements of the mind. Now there's more about meditation. I've got one from Harvard Health. I've got a Jason Stevenson meditation YouTube. If either of those are interesting to you, please let me know. Another one is sleep cycle apps. Now, there are a variety of apps available out there now to monitor your sleep cycle. And these apps measure things like when you enter deeper periods of sleep, when your potential for REM sleep is highest, when and how you start to enter into the lighter levels of sleep. By monitoring your current sleep tendencies, it gives you an awareness into how best to maximize your sleep times. You can start to use your sleep time to your advantage and maybe figure out, the triggers or the reasons contributing to your lack of sleep, finding those patterns. Apps such as Sleep Cycle provide you with all this information and are available for both Apple and Android. The only warning I'll mention is to ensure it doesn't cause you to keep your phone too close. Try instead to download it onto a tablet that you can minimize the potential for distractions in the form of other notifications. Perhaps on your tablet, you could set it for no notifications. That way you would only have your meditation, your guided meditation on it, or your sleep cycle programs. So I'm curious, have you tried any of the sleep-related apps? And would you recommend those? Flow state and sleep. Any artist who is familiar with the deeply focused sensation of flow state will know that it's a state during which our creative capacity is heightened, leading to a more intense and lengthened state of focus. It can also feel like we're more deeply in tune with our bodies and our minds. And it's interesting to consider our capacity to focus in terms of our ability to cultivate deep states of sleep, as the brain waves involved in maintaining flow state are the same brain waves involved in maintaining continued and deep states of sleep. Therefore, it follows that after an intense period of flow state, we might find it easier to get to sleep. Channeling energy in one direction consistently means that the energy is more accustomed to going down those pathways. And this improves our capacity to enter into any state, including a state of deep sleep. It really comes down to lifestyle factors and figuring out what best works for each person. If the flow state is elusive for some during daylight hours, it makes sense for them to postpone any work-related pursuits until later on, and vice versa. The science is there to back it up, however, that achieving a state of deep sleep is a similar sensation of prolonged focus and calm awareness that exists during a flow state. Psychophysiological insomnia. This kind of insomnia is probably one of the most difficult to deal with. And during a period of this kind of insomnia, which I didn't realize that it actually had a name, a person experiences lack of sleep during which their thoughts are preoccupied by the fact that they are currently not sleeping and worrying about the consequences, effects, and outcomes of the fact that they're not sleeping. I mean, I've had that happen. I didn't realize there was actually a term for it. If you've ever had, like a big meeting and experienced a lack of sleep the night before, as you contemplate and overanalyze the potential outcomes of the day ahead, you know what I'm talking about. And affects women more than men. And it's characterized by the onset of anxiety as the person prepares for sleep, worrying about the quality of the impending night's sleep, the duration or lack thereof, and the consequences should they not achieve sufficient sleep. And the preoccupation with sleep stems from an initial experience of insomnia and the subsequent developed fear of returning to that state causes the onset of this insomnia. So I'm curious if you have ever experienced that. So this type of disorder can be treated by engaging in relaxation techniques and meditation to first calm down the nervous system, the mind, and body to prepare it for sleep. Well, we've discussed the importance of a regulated and balanced diet in cultivating a healthy sleep pattern. There are some foods which encourage and promote a deeper sleep more so than others. Eating protein-rich foods that are rich in the amino acid tryptophan can be of benefit to those seeking to improve their sleep. This amino acid helps to encourage the sleep-producing hormone melatonin, and so it's a great way to help yourself achieve better rest. Chicken, turkey, milk, dairy, nuts, and seeds are all good choices of foods like this. And combining these with rice, pasta, or potatoes helps the body get the most benefits from tryptophan. But if you're someone who prefers not sleeping after a heavy meal, then there are also certain snack foods which better encourage sleep than others. And the trick is simply to be aware of the effects of these before you sleep. Foods with naturally occurring amino acids like walnuts, almonds, and green leafy vegetables and root vegetables are great grounding choices that will return you to a calmer state of mind and ease anxiety before retiring for the night. And I do have a couple articles on sleep reducing foods and recipes for sleep enhancing foods. So let me know if you're interested in that. For anyone not familiar with the concept of essential oils, they are broken down volatile organic molecules that can change quickly from their solid or liquid state at room temperature. They're called volatile because they change state quickly, but the most important fact to know for the benefit of this webinar is that they are derived from organic plant sources and that they can be very powerfully fragrant. Some of these natural fragrances have proven to promote and induce a calmer state of mind and encourage a more balanced central nervous system, which allows us to more effectively prepare for sleep. For this reason, many people use essential oils such as lavender, chamomile, sandalwood, and cedarwood, among others, in their sleeping areas to help infuse the air with pleasing, calming molecules to relax the nervous system and encourage deeper breathing as they fall asleep. The study that I have the link examines the effects that lavender has on the nervous system, and it concludes that the use of this essential oil has positive impacts on the emotional state and physical tension involved in sleep disorders. Essential oils have so many benefits, and it's a great area to begin exploring if you're new to the potential that they hold to help regulate your sleep pattern. Now, some other strategies to promote sleep. As I've mentioned earlier, there's quite a few strategies that are effective in promoting a deeper state of sleep. And I'd love if you took the next few moments to consider which one might suit you best and share if you have any experiences in trying any of them. From meditation to journaling to yoga, changing your diet, learning how to use essential oils, there are a number of strategies you can try to improve your sleep. And I'd really encourage you not to give up trying if one doesn't have the immediate desired effect. It takes a while and can take some trial and error to figure out what works best for your particular sleep issue and your lifestyle. So please don't lose heart if one thing doesn't work. So what is something that you'd like to try tonight? We're done, but this is only the beginning for you. I hope this webinar has been informative for you and succeeding in drawing awareness to the benefits a consistent cycle of deep sleep can have in your life. If you're one of the millions of people who are still struggling to find what works for your particular sleep issue, I really do encourage you to try some of the techniques we've discussed today. The difference you'll feel after a few nights of good sleep will make all the difference in your health and in your outlook. And if you have any questions regarding anything that we've discussed, please feel free to either put those in the chat, private message me, and I'll be able to respond. I'd like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank you for giving me your time today, and I really hope you found it beneficial. As I've mentioned, I am here to answer any of your ongoing questions, and I really hope to hear from you and what you found most useful and what you could have used in addition to everything we discussed. I really love sharing this topic with people as I feel it's a vital aspect of our health and lifestyle that's often forgotten in favor of other things. So if you've made the decision to tackle it head on by attending this webinar, I assure you, you're already halfway there. If you feel like you've tried all these things and you're still struggling with sleep, let's have a conversation. I want you to have the best health, and sleep is an integral part of that. So let's talk. The next slide has my contact information, and use any of those to connect, and we can set up a time to talk. You deserve a good night's sleep. I'm going to put up my contact information, and I do have one question that talking about alternative solutions to the CPAP. And I'm not the only other alternative that I have heard about is where it's a mouthpiece done by a sleep dentist. There's actually a sleep dentist, and you can put this in and it will keep your lower jaw extended so that then your throat and the inside of your mouth do not collapse when you're sleeping. And I understand that that is another way for another solution for sleep apnea. So I hope that answers your question. So here is my website, my email, my phone number, Facebook information. Feel free to use any of those. And until next time, I invite you to live well and sleep well.